You are now live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
Good evening. This is the Templeton Board of Appeals. We're going to open a public hearing to consider the petition of Mark Trigney, M&L Corporation, 195 Brooks Road. Consider an appeal for a change or substantial extension of use. Mark, you want to let us know what you intend to do over there?
We've been there for roughly 3 years.
Madam, can I please ask you to step right up to the mic over there so anybody at home can hear you?
We've been there for about 3 years at 195 Brooks Road. We've been operating, running the plow trucks in the winter time. This will be the fourth season we started. Other than that, we run the machine shop, so on and so forth. That's about it.
You actually run the machine shop?
Yeah, it's there for hire. People can come and job can get done there, so on and so forth.
And so you've been storing the plow trucks there?
They have been stored there, yes.
How many trucks do you keep there?
There's 7 trucks. And then a couple of 1-tons.
7 Class A trucks.
That's correct.
And you do store them inside, or you store them outside?
Some are inside, some are outside.
And you purchased the property three years ago?
Roughly 3 years ago.
Do you have a business permit or anything?
I'm not sure if that's in the paperwork or not. I'd have to look back. But
I guess you get one from the town.
We didn't have a permit for file.
You have a business permit on file. You say you're currently using the machine shop,
That's correct.
and was that consistently used from
From day one, which is roughly
since you bought it? But how about before?
before that, I believe, for like roughly the last 42 years. It's been a machine shop. Never lost its grandfather and so on and so forth. It's a continued use.
Okay. Board members got any questions?
So you've never had a certificate of business?
I guess not.
Do you know when theirs expired? When you bought it, it had one, it must have.
The machine shop.
Yeah. AP machine must have.
That's correct. I'm sure they did.
Was there one on file for them?
I didn't check that out, but I can
They might have been incorporated.
possibly.
You don't need that. You don't go back.
But you still need to keep the certificate.
So,
Okay.
I'm not sure of that, but
I don't believe if you're incorporated, you need to have a certificate.
we have a 04 number. Right. Yeah.
You're not incorporated. Well, the machine shop is a realty trust, so it does have its 04 number. But the plow trucks are a corporation also. So I'm not sure what exactly that means, but
Wouldn't it be something when the property was changed over, when he was purchased it, wouldn't it be supposed to be something changed if it was, business before, wouldn't it go in there?
But the other business
He
is
bought it as a
viable, as
business.
you're saying, it's still operating,
Still
we're
operating.
not under that name, probably.
That's correct.
So what's the machine shop, the name of the machine shop now?
J&M Machining.
In the cloud company is.
M&L Corporation.
So you want to run both of them right out of the same building, same lot? The
The trucks are basically. just parked
M&L
there.
and, yeah,
The trucks are basically just parked there, stored there and maintained there. In my opinion, there's no business that actually takes place. There's no money being made.
Should say the repairing,
Repairs, that's correct.
vehicle repairing, yeah.
Just M&Ls. We don't do outside work.
You don't repair from outside, people do.
That's right. Correct. We don't do anything like, for example, Roland's Repair Shop or CONS, or it's not a repair shop. It's,
so M&L does, so if I had a truck, I could bring it to you and have it repaired?
no,
No,
So you're just repairing just your personal vehicles there?
that's correct.
But if you had a machine part, you needed to have machined
For example, drive shafts have been made in there. The flywheel have been resurfaced in there
for outside customers.
for M&L's trucks.
Oh, you know, so the machine shop is not being used as
Yes, the other work does come in for machining.
for the machining.
That's right. So, for example, if someone had a truck that wanted another drive shaft built or something to that effect, they could bring it there and get it done.
Does the machinist work for you?
He basically runs that part of the operation. I'm not a machinist.
So pretty much you're running kind of two businesses right out of the one building.
Well, the machining is one business and M&L is just parked there. So I'm not sure.
But it's
if-
still
if
right
that-
on the same property as,
Same property, but
Yeah.
I don't consider that any business. No money's being made for M&L.
you plow with these trucks?
That's correct.
So you
That's
do
it.
make money in the winter.
Offsite. They have to leave the property to make money.
But they have a lot of business.
Can your neighbors express any disconcern of doing anything there? Or- One of the biggest factors I look at when I do it is what's going on around you.
I do believe I had a water issue with one neighbor.
Yeah.
And then another neighbor made a complaint about cutting wood and houses being built around us.
Houses being built everywhere.
It's true. Now, the proposed addition, I just have a box there. There's no measurements or anything on it.
I don't know anything about that. That's the most current
Drawing.
drawing. That drawing is far from accurate.
Okay,
That's. the only
because
one.
I haven't got, like I say, I don't know how big this addition is.
Oh, no, we're not looking,
No,
no
it's not.
additions, no
No
nothing,
addition.
nothing like that.
That's why you had concern up the parking lot.
Did you expand the yard at all, or?
We did a lot of cleanup, and yeah, tons of cleanup, lots of trees came down. Some dirt got moved. In my opinion, the building was just too low. There was a river going through the building when
Next door.
I first got there.
Oh, that's the next door job.
So I didn't think it was
this is
good.
the property line.
Address the situation.
Oh, so that's a separate parcel.
This is a separate parcel. What's we got?
They use the
This is a lot more open there. now, I noticed.
In my opinion, it's cleaner. Maybe not everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think
Hey, hi.
we cleaned the junkyard.
So we're looking at the plot plan here. That's how it works. You have one
You
driveway.
have a common driveway?
No, this,
It
shows
shows
two
numbers.
driveway, one driveway for the machine shop, 195B, And then there's another driveway for the red house that extends beyond the back.
When you do your storing, you store where do you store the vehicles when it comes to? The block?
The very back property line.
The opposite of the Brooks Road.
Opposite of Brooks Road, that's correct.
That lot one is up against the. Maybe this is. That's the. Lot one. Shed, the sheds and everything still there.
No.
It,
That was dilapidated when I was here, when I first showed up there. Excuse me.
How close is your nearest neighbor from where the trucks are parked?
Property,
Very
the
close.
property line of the house.
You'll have a chance.
Well, from the trucks you say you want to.
The property line is probably maybe 15 feet from the property line, 20 feet maybe, somewhere in that ballpark. From the house, 200. Just a guesstimate, could be 180, could be 250, but somewhere in that ballpark.
Any other questions from the board?
No, but I just gotta say one thing, it is a lot open, it is, I think it is cleaner than what ever was there.
I think it looks much neater than it ever did. I agree. Not everyone feels the same way, but I personally think it was a junkyard before I got there. I can't imagine anyone in the area or in town like that.
All right, just we'll open it up. Another question from the board. We'll open it up to the neighbors here. Imagine the neighbors, the public.
I'd like to make a statement.
If you could please just say your name and what your address is. for the
My
record.
name, sure, want me to stand up? Please. Well, my name is Greg Howland, and I live at 185 Brooks Road. I am the western abutter to this property. Okay. And, excuse me for just a second, but
Want to sit here, Greg?
that's okay. When I bought this property 20 years ago from Phil Matasevich, I hired a lawyer to research the machine shop, whether or not it could become, I was informed it was residential agricultural. The machine shop was grandfathered. So I went to the machine shop.
What year were you?
I've been there since 2000. That was about 2000. I went to the machine shop and I spoke with Ron, the owner, the old guy. And I said, look, I'm buying this land. I want to buy this land next door. And I'm kind of concerned about a machine shop here. And he said, look, there's not a lot of money in this business, but we do pretty good. He says, we've got 3 or 4 guys that work for us 7 to 4 every day, maybe a Saturday here and there. And that's all I've ever had to deal with until they died. And then when Mr. Torigny bought the property, shortly thereafter, the noise started. It's been excavating, tree removal, and various other very noisy projects. Then he started to bring his trucks in, knowing full well, because I was informed by the building inspector that he had a visit from Mr. Torigny prior to buying the property, asking if it would be conforming to park the trucks on the property, and he was informed it would not be conforming, but he bought it anyway. So Mr. Torigny plows Route 2 with these trucks. And he can get called at any time of the day. Middle of the night, they call, he's got to go. So I got how many trucks sitting about 125 feet from my bedroom? They're old diesels. When they fire up, they make a lot of noise. And when you take off with them, they make even more. Okay. I had a machine shop next to me for 15 years. that were the best neighbors I could ever ask for. They were there for 7 hours a day. They let me park vehicles over there if I needed. If I needed a plow out, bam, they were right there. I have no objections to the machine shop, including the kid that's running it now, Joe Michaud. He worked there for as long as I built. When I built my house, he cut down the trees and he took them home. So he was there then, he's there now. I don't have a problem with the machine shop. My problem is with waking up in the middle of the night, the diesel trucks firing up. I have 2 grandkids that live with me. They're 8 years old, my wife and my son. And we've been wakened at 11:30 p.m., 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. last year. I sleep horribly. I cannot sleep, you know? So when I get woke up at 2 in the morning, I'm all done. Next day, I get to about 2 in the afternoon and I'm history. I can't even work anymore because I'm so tired. Right? I mean, is that something that I should have to put up with? I don't think so. I don't, you know, the trucking business has people coming and going 7 days a week, all times of the day, with no regards for the neighbors. Okay? They don't live there. We do. It's our residence. These houses are worth, 15 houses were built within a quarter of a mile. They're worth $400,000 to $460,000 a piece. Okay? I would think that all them people that are buying them properties would be concerned about having, you know, a piece of a commercial business in their residential neighborhood. I mean, I had 6 houses on my road for 15 years and all of a sudden, boom, they're all tossed right up. And there's nothing I can do about that. That's progress. People own the land, you got the right to sell it and you got the right to do whatever you want with it. That's fine. But when I bought my land, the neighbor was a machine shop that was grandfathered. I owned property in this town since the 1980s. And I saw zoning go in this town. I remember when it happened. And I thought the town was doing a great thing to prevent this from happening. I applaud the zoning department and the building inspector for doing their jobs. I mean, I really do. I think it's great that we have them people working for this town and they're looking out for the good of this town. My taxes have almost tripled since I built my house in 2000, almost tripled. But you know what? That's okay, man, because I love Templeton. I love living here. I love living in my house. I don't particularly care for what's going on now. I wouldn't mind just a machine shop being over there or something, but there's a lot more going on over there than just a machine shop, and it shouldn't be any more than that. I'd ask that you deny this and uphold the law so I can enjoy things the way they should be and retire with peace and quiet like it used to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I sit at the table.
Sure.
My name's David LaRoche, and I reside at 177 Brooks Road, which is 2 houses down from the property that we're speaking about. I'd like to also make it clear that I have no problems with the machine shop. I've been there 21 years. Never had a problem. I don't have a problem with it today. I know when I bought the property, it was there, it was grandfathered. And we had for the last 18 years, a very good relationship with those people until now. And let me just speak to my concerns. I'm here to address the Templeton Board of Appeals about the request for variance to change or substantial extension of the use of the property at 195B Brooks Road. My name, as I said, is David LaRoche, and my wife Kathy is here, and I have owned a single-family home at 177 Brooks Road for the past 21 years. We also resided on South Road for previous 10 years. So we've been here over 30 years. We're here tonight to urge the Templeton Board of Appeals to deny the appeal by Claude Toringi, trustee of TNT Realty Trust, for the following reasons. For the past 3 years, the property has been used as a storage facility for commercial plows, excavators, and other various pieces of heavy equipment, in direct violation of the zoning for the property at 195B Brooks Road. Also, for the past 3 years, the snow plows are started and left running at all hours of the day and night. Due to the fact that they are used to plow the state roads, the noise from due to the fact that they are used to plow the state roads. So anytime it snows, they've got to go. The noise from them is substantial. I can hear it 2 doors down. In the summer, for the past 3 years, the heavy equipment has been used in the back of the facility, resulting in constant loud noise of metal banging against metal. This starts as early as 7 a.m. and goes on until well into the evening, and often 7 days per week. To the point that my wife and I, were both retired, do not even want to be in our backyard due to the constant loud banging noise. Also, I would like to refer you to the Zoning Board of Appeals application that was submitted by Mr. Toringi on October 5th, 2021. On your application, section 5 of the application, it asks, does the applicant to describe the proposed project? Let me say that again. The applicant to describe the proposed project. This section was left blank. Also, section 6C of the application asks, if approved, why the variance will not be a detriment to the abutter and the general public. Again, this section was also left blank. For all these reasons, my wife Kathy and I respectfully request that the variance for the property at 195B Brooks Road made by Claude Toringi, trustee of TNT Realty Trust, be denied. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Janet Skaggerland. My husband and I, we live at 203 Brooks Road. Mark, we did not make a complaint to the town against you. We didn't find,
No communications.
my apologies.
Address everything through
My
the web
apologies.
first. Thank you.
I wanted Mark to know that we were not initial complainants. We did not know about this until we received your letter calling us to this meeting. With that being said, I walked over twice to speak with Mark. I prefaced our conversations both times saying, we want to be your good neighbor, but you're driving us nuts. I sort of uphold what my 2 other neighbors have spoken. For the past 2 years, 3 years, it's been crazy and it's been awful. We've been awoken at all hours of the night with trucks coming and going and the beeping sound of those trucks coming in. They've excavated right up to our fence. It's been clanging and rattling, and I agree with my neighbor. It's been very unpleasant to sit outside. It's been awful. And then we've also endured in the winter the outside furnace that blows this toxic fume right across our yard, our land. When I received this letter, I went and I printed out the town of Templeton zoning bylaws, because I had not realized he doesn't belong in this neighborhood. I understand Mr. Charland was grandfathered in. I understand that. but he doesn't belong on that property with his commercial vehicles. We are a residential neighborhood. And as much as I don't mean any unkindness to Mark or anything like that, he shouldn't be there. And it has made living there very, very difficult. And I too would like to say to you gentlemen that you need not to let Mr. Trinagi continue with his business next door. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
My name's Steve Kenny. I live at 212 Brooks Road. I'm actually across the street from the Skagwans. I've been resident there for 8 years. I can hear the goings on at night and in the evening. It doesn't bother me as much as because I'm across the street, but I can still hear it, but it's closer to them. Therefore, just briefly, if the bylaws are wrong of the way they are now, and the gentleman in question has his trucks there, then, and they shouldn't be there, he should have another place just to put the trucks, keep the machine shop. That's basically it. It's not bothering me as much as them, but if my neighbor's not happy, then I'm not happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from the public? All right. Board, any questions?
I have a couple of questions for Mr. Trigny.
Mark, you want to come back up?
More out of curiosity than it's affecting my thinking. What the first person that spoke, it was the first person.
Right.
Mentioned that you went and talked to the building inspector before buying the property, and he said that this wouldn't be permitted.
I had a conversation with him. And the conversation I asked him, can you explain to me what the grandfathering is of a machine shop? And he couldn't answer that question. So seeing that Mr. Shalin had trucks and commercial trailers stored on that property for years and years, long before any of these neighbors were here, didn't make any sense to me why you couldn't store a commercial vehicle if you could store a commercial truck or trailer for the machine shop.
You never thought to come to the ZBA or to the town before you bought the property to check and see if that?
Well, it didn't make any sense to me where he couldn't answer that question. If he's in charge of zoning, I don't know why he wouldn't know how to answer that question. Everyone in the room knows that place was a junkyard with lots of vehicles, lots of trailers, lots of miscellaneous metal all over the place. So I didn't really see the difference. The building inspector did also say if wanted to, in a sense, pack all the M&L's machines indoors, that shouldn't be a problem. So, meaning the trucks. If that's what you guys want, pack them indoors.
Well, just that you're obviously a hard-working guy, you're there 7 days a week, you're doing all that, but
To touch
the
a
noise
noise,
factor is more than.
I agree with the noise. I've admitted to you guys, that place was a disaster area. Hundreds of trees, lots of dirt. I'm not digging for gold. The digging's done. There's a couple piles to clean up. So they shouldn't anticipate any more digging. What they should anticipate now is maybe some landscaping, some back mulch, some shrubs, maybe some fences, et cetera, et cetera. 95% of the work is done.
Did you put the outdoor furnace in?
That furnace has been there for 20 years or more.
Now,
And I don't think the furnace is a problem. The wood is prepared, it's cut, split, it's dry. It's not burning trash.
I just don't remember if he had that. So I guess.
I see your hand going up.
That furnace has been an issue. I had to speak with Mr. Charlin twice about it. Because it blew this toxic plume across our land. And Mr. Charlin did do something about it the second time I spoke to him, and then we didn't have another issue with it. Now we're having more issues with it.
Yeah, that's a little out of the scope of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a zoning issue.
I need more to have. We have the people who, that's in process.
What we're focusing on is this board's supposed to be looking at
Design.
the change, the zoning, which is a change of a non-conforming use. And we've got to make a determination if it's more detrimental to the neighborhood or less detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use. So that's kind of what we're focused on. So keep the comments focused on that would be.
I'd be happy to admit that it's been louder with the excavation and the tree cutting. That's definitely been louder. But like I said, that's about 95% done. And as you guys can tell, you drive by and look, there's nothing really left to do, other than start planting grass and planting shrubs and making it a presentable property.
It's just a little bit backwards. We're supposed to be probably a site plan would be looked at prior to doing this type of work in the neighborhood. You know, that's, these are the things that get addressed on a site plan, and it should be done prior to the construction, you know.
Like the yard work.
Yeah, when you're changing, when you're parking commercial vehicles, it's an alteration to a commercial property. And that requires a site plan.
I was under the impression when the building inspector said he could park them indoors.
You get that in writing?
I guess we could ask him, and he could probably deny it now that it's 3 years later, but.
I think the issue is, it seems to me, it's just the noise, that's the issue, I think. Because of the different times of day and night that the vehicles are started and that's what I get out of your neighbors, that's what I get out of it.
I'd like to make one point about the property itself. When the machine shop was there, when the Shylins owned it, it was kind of like a fortress. They respected that they were in a residential neighborhood with a commercial property. They abandoned the house in 1987 and they moved. They put in the machine shop, expanded it, put in a septic system, and basically were concentrating on the machine shop. Nobody lived there. 1987. The plot plan shows one building, one house would be built on that lot. 230 feet of road frontage. There should only be one house on the lot. There's a house on it. There's a machine shop and there's an illegal trucking business. The house was being occupied this summer. That's what I went to the building inspector about. I went to my camp over here in Templeton, came home 2 hours later, 2 brand new windows on the front of the house. I'm like, what's going on here? So I came to the building inspector's office and she put me in touch with Richard. And I spoke with him and I said, and he now come find out that the thing's been all remodeled and, you know, they're backfeeding the power from the machine shop. And they got to hook up to the septic system for the septic for the house is running to the machine shop. That's what I went to the building inspector for. And he informed me that I was the third person to come and complain about the noise and other things. So that's, I know that's a whole nother issue. It doesn't involve this, but there, you know, as we sit, we have a machine shop and an illegal trucking business and almost had people living in the house too. three things on what should be one lot in a super high residential area. They just built 15 houses within a quarter of a mile. 410 to 460,000 bucks.
I would also like to talk about the machine shop. I bought the property 2 years prior, so I was well aware that I built. I was well aware of what was on and what was going on at the machine shop. Yes, there were many trees there, and this is Templeton. There are a lot of trees, and we live with that, don't we? And there might have been a few pieces of equipment out there, trailers to transport the product that was made in there. But there was no, it wasn't a parking lot filled with equipment and equipment coming and going. There was no noise. There was never any noise. For 20 years, there was no noise. The shop was there. They were respectful. Never a problem. The last 3 years, yes, it's been a problem. No respect for the neighborhood by this gentleman. Day in, day out, 7 to 7 during the summer. Whatever he's doing back there, driving, as you heard, people crazy, us included. And then the constant starting of his plows during winter, which is his business, which is totally illegal by your standards. Thank you.
Now, I noticed the building inspector issued you a cease and desist order,
That's correct. That's what we.
and then did you lived up to that? You took the equipment off the property when that happened? or-
All we did was appeal. That's why I'm here. So this, from what I understand, this is the appeal,
Yes.
and I have no idea where it goes from here.
All right, any other input, questions from the
Yeah.
board? Joe?
The J&M Machinists, I don't have a problem with that. That's been there, and like I say, that's been in business for years and years and years, and people built around it. You know, that's just the way it is. But as far as the M&L Corporation, that's, you're putting another, as far as I'm concerned, if you're parking all the machines there, you're putting another business there. So now you're running two businesses off that one lot.
So it's not just a.
It's not just,
Change.
it's not the machine shop that I have a problem with, it's the trucking.
use. All right, anything else? Close the public hearing.
Anybody else got anything to say? No?
I have one question. So if you when you close the public hearing, at what point and in what way do we get informed about what this decision is that's made?
You can handle that?
I can handle that, sure.
You notify the abutters, or
I did.
you have a list?
Thank you.
You notify them of the decision.
All right, did I make a motion that we end the meeting?
All right.
The hearing.
Public hearing.
The public
Yeah,
hearing.
public hearing, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
public hearing.
I'll second.
Discussion? Motion to make a motion to close the public hearing.
7:10. Can I take a roll call?
Votes?
You want to vote?
Yeah.
I vote no.
No.
Oh, no, I thought you were.
Vote to close the public.
Yeah,
Close the meeting.
yeah, I'll.
We don't do
No, I didn't know- I didn't
All those in
know.
favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
There we go. The ayes have it. Public meeting closed. 7:10. All right, we want to thank you
Thank you, gentlemen.
for attending and for all your input.
Thank you. Thank you. I will do that. I will do that. Nice to meet you.
We're-
Very highly of you. I will do that.
No,
Thanks.
no, I think it's. Kim's still-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You want to go through the agenda items first?
That'd be great. I'm sorry to pile minutes on you guys, but.
That's all right.
Yeah,
We're
right.
here.
All right, so we have some minutes from. August 6th.
No,
No.
February 21.
February 2nd,
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I gotta get my paperwork.
February 22nd. and April 1st and April 1st.
You Need another copy, John?
No, I just need a minute.
Take your time, that's fine.
Nice paperwork, by the way.
Thanks.
Wait.
Will you be making a decision tonight on this?
Good chance. We could do that.
Because I can let Jess handle the minutes and I can go type up the form that you normally do. for
Okay.
When you make a decision, because otherwise I'll have to wrangle cats for signatures.
Yep.
Okay,
That'll be fine.
good. I'll do that.
I think I stole it from what you were. Which one are you looking for?
The minutes. From
I don't need two of them. I wasn't here.
You know,
July
The project.
and February.
He runs that. I'm just on my own, supposedly.
When you have a moment, you're gonna try to find
I wasn't here. for that.
February 2nd.
Yeah.
minutes of the February 2nd,
Yeah.
2021.
No, I'm talking about the one we did a long time with that.
And then whoever was at that meeting, make a motion to
No,
You had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It was just a plan.
regarding those minutes, and then we'll do it.
Alan and Dave.
Okay, knows now.
Are they gonna?
He's absent.
Up to them.
Right.
If they want to.
Sorry.
More lots of it.
Myself,
Is
Joe,
Ron Steve?
Dennis, and Ron.
Yeah, he just worked for that.
So Ron's absent now,
No, Steve.
Maybe we have it for 3.
but we have 3, so that's enough.
Yeah, well.
All right.
So those are the people that need to make the motion, the people that
Oh,
were
okay.
present.
I didn't know. Wow.
All right, you all set with the minutes, Joe,
Yes, I'm all set with them.
from February 2nd? Yep. And Dennis,
Yes,
can we get a motion? Can we get a motion to accept them as written?
I'll make a motion. We accept them as written.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Any seeing none? All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Say aye.
Yeah, aye.
All right. Now we have
February 22nd.
February 22nd. What was that?
That was the final one for the year.
What?
Mhm.
We're gonna discuss that.
We're gonna have a chance to review. Who is it? We're looking for Joe, Dennis and David on this
Right.
one myself.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written. February 22nd, 21.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Now you're looking for April 5th.
Right.
And that's me, you. Actually, I think we were all on that one. Oh, no, you weren't, Alan, I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't, yeah, see.
Yeah, but you
This was Joe and Dave. All right. David's good? All on discussion? Have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
April 5th.
All right. No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Get caught up on our minutes.
Is there April 20th there also?
Yeah, July 21st.
Yeah. There was a July.
No, I'm not on it.
April 20th. is
I'm
the
not
last
on
one.
it.
That's myself, Joe and Alan.
I didn't look at it.
Well, I was absent too.
Yeah.
You knew.
I agree to.
Get a motion?
Okay, motion.
We need more practice.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't have any meetings.
All right, need a motion.
I make a motion, to accept the minutes from July 21st.
No, April.
April
20th.
April 20th. I'm sorry, we're on the wrong one, but
That's okay.
probably the same one.
Do I have the right people in?
Yeah, just Alan and myself on this one.
The present members were John, Joe, Eric, Ron Davin, and Dave Smart.
Yeah, okay, so we need Dave on that.
There are 3 of you here, so the 3 of you can.
So this one's Dave, Joe and I?
Yep.
All right, we need a motion from you.
Make a motion. We accept the minutes.
Joe made a,
Oh,
and he's on there. so-
Yes.
okay, and he's got the right date.
Yeah, we do.
April 5th.
All right,
So you need a second. Yeah.
I'll second.
all right, motion made, seconded. Discussion. None. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Joe, it's your capacity. You get to sign
Twice.
the minutes for me, for the record.
Clerk signature?
And today's date is fine. I have to have practice sessions. I'll provide the copy of those.
Okay.
You want them all signed, right?
Yes,
Ethics will
please.
push us on. to it.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have for other business?
That leaves it open for you in case there's something that you want Jess and I to research, do. I send you emails that I receive for your review. The last one I sent you from Mr. Drury, I have not heard anything from the Attorney General's office yet, so I don't know.
Now, they haven't got a building permit, they haven't applied for the building permit?
Everything is in place. He's on hold because of the cost of materials. So hopefully, if we're going to hear from the Attorney General's office, it's soon.
Well, when there's a time period that they
Did not,
appeal.
he did not appeal through the normal channels.
Mr. Jury did.
No, there was not an appeal through the town clerk's
Can't
office.
really stop anything that's slowing things down.
But there's other ways of
I-
appealing this?
I don't know, he's been in contact with them, and
Yeah.
the portion of the email that I sent you is exactly what I got.
Yeah.
So that bottom part that refers to, there's a lot of talk about different cases and things like that. I heard nothing from the Attorney General. I don't know what to tell you at this point. So
Okay,
I can resend that to you if you want, and
That appeal period is gonna be over by now.
there was no appeal through,
Right. Proper chance.
well, through
Town
the town clerk's office, there was no appeal.
We don't know if there's another way to do it legally.
I can't find anything that says there is, but that doesn't mean that the Attorney General won't look at something, I'm sure.
but I think the Attorney General will have to notify the town, somebody's got to notify the town, so the building
Yes.
inspector knows not to issue a permit.
Correct,
As far as we're concerned, the appeal period is passed.
correct.
It's out of my hands.
the building permit should be issued if applied.
Building permit was issued.
Oh, the bill, oh, okay.
This hasn't started.
He just hasn't started.
I see.
Right. He's trying to wait until some costs come down. Yeah.
He has what, for 3 years to do that, with that permit? As long as he keeps doing
I think
something.
he's gonna start in 6 months and
He did take down, I believe he took down the barn, the building that he told us. he
Oh,
was
really?
going to. I'll have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure he got a demo permit on that.
That's the one up front, right? You're talking about the storage unit?
Whatever barn or building. was
I
talking
don't
about.
think he took that down yet.
No,
That's
last time I looked-
that's
Okay.
still right there.
Okay,
He hasn't touched that, and the trailers
Okay.
are still out in the back. I
But he
saw
got the
that.
permits.
okay.
But he
Yeah,
got-
yeah.
He gets the
permit.
permits.
There's nothing out front either by the road.
I raised concern during that meeting for us to contact town council. Because Steve had got my gears going upstairs, probably yours too. About our ability to change non-conforming uses or, normal stuff that we do, whether or not it was in the scope of what we're allowed to do. I don't know if town council
I don't know.
has ever got the question as to, the parameters of where we can go, like the case we heard tonight.
I was reading about that in the bylaws.
The reason I say that is because one of these that you forwarded, it says right on there that the law department instructed me how to proceed.
Not our law department.
No, not ours. I would think that's the attorney general, is what he's,
That's what I'm.
maybe, I don't know.
You're better man than me, if you understand.
Well, you kind of got to read between the lines, just to take out a chunk here and a chunk there, but if you read it that way, it's looking like to me that the law department instructed me how to proceed, so I will. Now, all he's got to do is fire off an email. Then they take it up and do the scope of the work if they find there's an issue. Now, my question is, by me contacting Steve and asking him to forward me the email that from the law department, not just,
Yeah, he somehow
not,
copied and pasted or whatever.
but I'd like to be able to contact the people that he's contacting. That's what I'm getting at. So who are you getting this from that says we're doing it wrong? Because we shouldn't be doing it wrong. I don't want to do it wrong.
Well,
We shouldn't be. If
we
we are,
made
I
a
don't-
decision on that case.
we did, 100%. And I think it was right. If the scope of everything is right.
I will take a copy of the email to Adam tomorrow and ask him to run that information through town council.
Mhm.
The email that. we
Okay.
received.
I appreciate that. I think we all should.
Well,
Uh,
the board has made a decision. Now it's out of our hands.
Oh, it is.
Right.
It's definitely done.
At this
Our-
point,
our-
it's out of
Yeah.
our
But like this
hands.
case
For
tonight,
future cases, I mean.
Yeah.
If you think about it, take a year down the road. He's done the additions, he's put them all up. 6 months later, you gotta tear them all down.
Well, that's the appeal process.
No, this is, if we've done something wrong, it's back on the town, I believe. If DA Holding has to tear them all down because this wasn't done right or out of our scope. Not that I'm saying that it is, I don't know.
that's why they
what
have an
town
appeal
council-
process also.
Yes.
If he didn't follow through the proper appeal process, he never did what he could do to stop it, then it happened. Right or wrong, he didn't.
Is that the end of it though? That's.
I think it would be.
That's what I don't know.
Yeah, that's a question. Right there.
That's why they have it. We're all human and we've made a misjudgment. He had a chance to rectify it, and that's that appeal process. That's how I look at it. And you got to admit, you can't have a guy ripped down after you already.
No,
I don't know, I
But-
didn't read these
but-
case laws.
but-
He
Yeah.
may be pointing to what could
Well,
be
that's, I
happening.
mean, I'm not a lawyer either. I'm just saying that's my opinion. That's why, how I feel. That being the case, moving forward, like on this case here, whether we like it or don't like it, is there a do we have the authority to actually grant it? You know, because it just is illegally in our in our rights to, as a ZBA, to grant this, I mean, if we wanted to. Because it's too, because I don't know, just reading the bylaws and what we are allowed to grant.
We gotta have a finding that the use is, the proposed use is not more detrimental
And that's not the basis,
than the existing non-conforming use.
and that's not basis.
And that's, we have to make a determination on that.
Can we still vote and put two businesses together on a non-conforming? Or can we add another business to this? Can we legally do that if we wanted to? It's kind of what I'm saying. Even if we are the ZBA, just because we say it, we approve it.
I believe if it's less
Detrimental, we could,
equal or less detrimental to the
I
neighborhood,
think we could.
it's in the scope of our decision.
That's what I don't.
You know, that's,
But that being said, that's a legal issue we can talk about after we discuss. I think which way we have to go.
yeah, you know, if we want to grant this,
We might want to ask that
we
question.
might want to ask that
Yeah,
question.
that's what I'm
Describe the grant. I don't know if the board's leaning towards, you know. Does this board feel that it's less detrimental than the machine shop?
No.
The proposed use?
It feels that way.
First of all, that machine shop is grandfathered in. But what you were saying, they bought it 3 years ago. It's kind of, they never pulled it up, so that grandfather would be gone, wouldn't
Yes.
it?
Yes, it
So
was-
theoretically,
there's nothing there.
we could say, we don't even want to have the machine, well, someone could say we don't have the machine shop, but they don't have a legal permit right now.
Right.
Like when we did the fence company on
Right.
Bowenville
After
Road.
2 years, if you don't.
But Brookside was still grandfathered into that, and the kid come into that and was grandfathered into that too with the fence.
But I believe he's running a machine shop. You know, he's still got the
Right,
employees from.
Right,
He still
oh,
has the
absolutely, yeah, no, I have no problem with the
Charles-
machine shop because,
Charles machinist is still employed there and is running that. I don't believe that the machine shop has ceased existing.
right, no, I agree they're still in business, and I think it's, it's
It
been there
should be.
before all these houses were built, and I
It
don't
should
think they should be gone out of there. But the
And
thing is, the
nor-
trucks in the
nor-
residential firing over,
Yeah.
and you can't park, you're not parking 10 or 15 trucks, like you said, plus others in one building. Unless the building's not that big.
Yeah, and it's, the use is, you're starting diesel trucks all
That's the
hours of the day and night.
Back up a line.
Which, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the problem, the noise.
Yeah,
It ain't the idea, because I've been by there, he has truck back outdoors all the time.
Yeah, you park indoor,
I
outdoor.
went by there
I'm
not
just
too
saying,
long
hey,
ago.
the
He
problem-
didn't,
the problem is
he
the
didn't have
noise.
any trucks there. Well, that I saw. Because when I read that, I happened to go by there, and I didn't see any of the trucks out there, but they could be in the back.
He's got him in the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
You could have them tucked away in the
I have
back.
seen
Definitely does,
it outside.
definitely it does though. It's not like the
Yeah, well,
neighbors
he
are
admitted-
making it up.
Oh, no, he admitted it. He wants to do it, that's what he applied to do.
It's a crazy lot. to
He has
begin with.
cleaned it up.
Who broke that up like
Yeah,
that? That's-
But that isn't really the point. He could have it spick and span and make it look beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
It still isn't that, even though he was trying to make it a point.
It's the
My point of
noise.
view on this whole thing is, I'm for business, kind of, and I'm for people being able to do what they want to do with their property, but I think he's a hardworking guy, but I think there's two things there. One is, I really think that he had an opportunity. He should have known better whether he does or not before he bought the property, made this big
That's right.
investment. To make sure that he could do what he wanted to do, and it was okay. And I don't believe Richard, I just don't believe Richard didn't tell him what he thought, or he didn't pursue it properly to ask him, and, you know.
Because Alan's been on the other end.
Yes, I have. He
Exactly.
told me that the other weeks ago, even though we all know,
He's not afraid to tell you.
we all know he was wrong there, but still stood. And I didn't make a big deal. I just
Well,
I conformed.
I kind of found it a little persuading that there wasn't one person here speaking for him.
And I don't think anybody was lying or exaggerating.
Oh, no.
No,
Not too much exaggeration.
No.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, a real thing. I'm selling a piece of property right now. I had somebody who wanted to buy it, and I just built houses around it. And that person wanted to have a bunch of diesel, run a bunch of stuff. All we're gonna do is go and leave in the morning and come home. I just wouldn't sell it to the guy because I didn't want to do that to the neighbors. And I just didn't know, so I didn't sell it to him himself, if somebody's gonna build a single family house there. And I, I mean, that's just it, loud. I mean, the diesel starting up in the morning, taking off and coming back.
Just one.
Well, there's several.
Just
This
one
guy
truck?
had-
Anything
this
at
guy
2 in
has
the
several.
morning with nothing, no wind, no anything, it's
The
gonna
new
make.
trucks are real quiet, you
it's a
can't
lot.
hear them.
Not true.
When you start them up in the morning stuff, I mean, those kind of trucks that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
gonna be kind of loud.
But most of the new trucks, now you can't hear them running.
These wouldn't be that, quiet. I just think it'd be too noisy, I just didn't do it. And, because of this same situation, how would the neighbors know?
And it's more than just a truck going by.
It is
Starting
more
the
than
truck.
just driving.
You know, you're,
You're starting it up.
he's repairing the heavy equipment.
And the kind of business he's in, it's, like I said, it's not, and the other point is, I didn't even bother making is, it's not 9 to 5 or something
No,
like
it could
that.
be a
5 days a week.
24-hour thing.
It's anytime at night, anytime during the day, Sunday, if you're gonna fix your plow, and get back out there, that's what you have to do, that's your business.
No, I didn't see how big the door, does he have a big enough bay to put a truck in? As far as if he wanted to repair, let's say a
Well, the
temporary
back,
joint?
the back.
Yeah,
area
he's got a
is huge.
big place in the back.
He does have, okay.
Yeah, I believe he has a door big enough
Yeah.
to put vehicles in.
Probably half.
Well, I
the
would
size
think
of
so
the
because of the
highway.
machine shop, but I don't know how, exactly how big.
Yeah,
You can't see it because it's way in the back.
it's on a plot. plan, you see.
No, there wasn't much of a plot plan.
Yeah,
No.
That's an old.
There'd be a lot
Sure,
of
I'll
other
do
businesses that I
that.
wouldn't mind, saying yes to, but this, the noise factor to me, if it was me, I would not like that.
And another
It
thing
could make me
is,
move.
he's running the machine shop and
Yes, and that's another factor.
And so he's compound, it's not just a change of use, it's a new use, continuing use, old pre-existing non-conforming use. And adding a second use. Now, they were talking about the house, there's nobody living in the house, or is somebody living in the house?
Well, my point is,
I
can't
don't,
somebody
I
live in
don't
the
think
house?
so, it was pretty
It's a
dilapidated.
res-
It was vacant for years, but I did see him working on that
That's
house.
permitted.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be committed. It was always a
If
house.
somebody wants to live in a house in an RA1, somebody can live in a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did
So
he
there's
get a
nothing
building
wrong with
permit
that.
for his
Have
renovations
you
in the
seen the
house?
house? The house.
No, and I didn't know about the septic system either, so I'll have to look into that too.
But somebody could live there. I don't see how that was really a factor at all. It's just
No.
two businesses. that's-
Yeah. Didn't understand that concern. But,
So he was here, and part of the reason it was brought up about not making out part of the application. He was here to appeal
Yeah,
the cease and desist order.
Right, which you should have, I think, in my
Is
opinion.
that our jurisdiction to get involved in a cease
not
and
ours,
desist
is it?
order?
well,
No.
you can appeal a building inspector's decision to the Board of Appeals.
Okay.
That, we have
we
that
do
scope.
that.
We have, in our scope,
But that-
we are the judge in appealing the building inspector.
It doesn't mean he shouldn't decease.
Well, he did.
I
That's
know.
what-
But
we're still doing
you
what
have
we're
to-
doing,
So
So
we're not
When
police.
we as a board, when we consider that, we need to decide if the building inspector erred in his decision. And if we're looking at that, the bylaw says you can expand or change a current non-conforming use with a different non-conforming use, as long as it's not more detrimental, but there needs to be a finding through the Board of Appeals.
So he didn't really ever have.
And he never had that, so the bill inspector did his job as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if the board
What
wants
he
to
said
vote on that.
before was there's no proof of, what there is proof of is what he just did.
Yeah,
Cease and desist.
should the board vote on that question as well? It's a special, the
You're the authority now.
On Richard's findings?
cease and desist.
well,
No, Richard wrote, those are his findings, cease and desist was part of his findings. You don't have to vote on that part of it because he already made that request. So what you're voting on tonight is the simple appeal that Mr. Trigny disagrees with Mr. Hanks's finding. Although it's in the zoning bylaw for RA1. But, no, the cease and desist is separate.
And that, but one place he's asking in his application. Well,
No, you don't need 'em.
now.
I might be misunderstanding what you're asking.
If you're appealing the zoning enforcement, number 7 on the application. If you're appealing the zoning enforcement officer's decision, what is the basis for your appeal under the Templeton Bylaws? So call it apply. You're aggrieved by the enforcement action or lack thereof by the building commission. So that looks like that's what he applied, that's what he's,
He wants to continue to run his business there.
yeah. But this,
He doesn't agree with, well, basically he's asked if we agree with Richard Hanks, isn't it? The building inspector, the zoning board enforcer.
so
So he feels he's not in violation.
Correct.
So if you read the zoning board, what is he? The zoning rules, 10B or something like that. Maybe.
I did bring in a couple copies of the zoning bylaws.
and then
There's some,
the bottom of the denial letter dated September 7th. Should you disagree with this determination, you may file for an appeal with the Board of Appeals within 30 days of receipt. So that is what he hasn't applied for a finding to change the non-conforming use.
he's appealing what Richard wrote in his letter about the use.
Right.
That's how I understood it when I applied.
So I jumped to conclusions that he was applying
Right.
for
Exactly. To be able to do it.
Do it.
to do it.
All he's doing is arguing about the decision.
Because if you have the right to change a non-conforming use. A pre-existing non-conforming use can be changed, altered, whatever, with a finding from the Board of Appeals. Should we address both issues while we're here?
Even though he's not asking for the second.
I'm safe, I would.
I agree.
At least he knows where it stands.
It was a very confusing process.
You know,
Well-
Yes.
Extension of use.
A lot of the public opinion on this issue, and it's not just this one, is, oh, I bought commercial property, I thought I could do anything I want on it. And that's the way he thinks, that's exactly what
Yeah.
he thinks.
But it's not commercial property.
I
It's
know.
not.
I know
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
But it was grandfathered as commercial,
Well, he
but
did
it's
come
not
in.
commercial, I understand, believe me, 100%.
Okay.
But people buy commercial thinking it's a business, it's commercial, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not the
So
neighbor's fault.
now
He
he's
doesn't
got to
understand.
cease and desist
Yeah.
because he was thinking down the wrong path.
Yeah.
But he's also throwing the building inspector, I would say, under the bus, saying, well, he said this and he said that. Should have got it in writing. If that was the case, I don't think he would have put it in writing. I don't know. That don't add up,
Yeah, and then,
especially 3 years ago, he knew.
and then question 1, line number 1 in the application for the Board of Appeals. He mentions 300-30B3.
I actually wrote that from Richard's letter because there was nothing. Section 310A. I didn't write the 300-30B3. That's Mr.
3.
Triton.
Okay, so you go to 330, and it's the Board of Appeals, you go to B, go to 3, and say B is powers. Board of Appeals shall have and exercise all powers granted to it by chapters 40A, 40B, and 41 of the general laws. The Board of Appeals powers are as follows. 1, 2, number 3 is what he refers to. Number 3, to hear and decide appeals taken by any person aggrieved by reason of his inability to obtain a permit or enforcement action from any administrative officer under the provisions of Mass General Laws 48, 7, 8, and 15. So I don't have 48. So I'm not 100% sure what 7, 8, and 15 are on 48. But it
So I'm gonna go print that for you?
could you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me one more time, you're looking at MGL chapter 40.
Yeah, Mass General Law 48, Section 7, Section 8, and Section 15.
Okay. Be right back.
Would you like it if they moved next door to you? 7 chunks.
Yeah.
And if the highway goes by, 2
30.
long.
10.
I can't imagine living next door. I always, every time I pull out of that private line, I take a left.
Yeah.
Thinking that
It's double-sided.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Took me a while to figure that out. On front, right, second page. There's still a lot of pages.
Rick, I remember in Big Hills, they store them in back, they find them up there.
310A, 310B. For some reason, I don't have that page.
Yeah, I mean, it's right.
Reading it earlier, so I know I had it.
Get this one going there.
Wrong page.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plain deed, okay, I'm looking at the zone, 310,
I don't think I have that one.
special permit uses. Following uses may be permitted by special permit, at the discretion of the planning board or zoning board of appeals. The special permit will be used, containing use, conversion of seasonal, which is not, bed and breakfast, which is not, hospital, which is not. Operation of maintenance of commercial kennels, they're just not, nonprofit clubs, not, radio, television, wireless. So as far as special permit uses
Number
in
7.
RA1 districts, none of them fall in that category.
Right.
One of the things I
That's
said,
what the bill inspector's determination.
that's what he said, which is right.
Where he
So
made his
basically,
determination.
based on that determination, yes, he's right.
Yeah.
Now it comes down to if there's some other stuff, like she's going out saying that we can do it based on 40 something.
Yeah.
But then it still comes down to whether we can or not, do we want, what do we think about doing it,
Yeah, and
based on what you said.
I knew there was somewhere I read here about considering appeal for a change of substantial extension of use was in the public hearing notice.
It was.
That's what was in the public hearing notice. I'll check with Laura. And
That's something that she generates, right?
yes,
Not something that he
right. He
appealed for,
filed this application
which doesn't address that.
but I knew there was somewhere that I was, we're considering appeal. I found how I've been confused here for a few minutes.
Okay,
The public hearing notice. Public hearing notice, bottom of the first paragraph. I take it, you'd be able to do it.
for change of substantial extension of use.
Yeah.
That was in Richard's letter.
That was in Richard's letter.
Yep.
But it wasn't in the application.
And that's why I wrote the other 2 sections on top of the application.
Yeah.
Referring to Richard's denial.
I think those section 310A, 10B, those are uses in
Correct.
R1, right? Allowable uses in R1.
Right.
But somewhere here, we can consider the appeal for a change in substantial extension of use. Since it was in the public hearing, we should probably, the public notice, we should probably
Yeah,
address.
and I think that was what his goal was. In
Yes,
talking to him, he wants to be able to continue to have the trucks on site and do what he's doing. And that would be a substantial change of use.
so do we have any thoughts on the building inspector air? Let's handle that one first. I think Alan read the.
Yeah, right. Based on what I'm seeing for that article that he's referring to, no, he did not have that. It doesn't follow doesn't follow.
The truck storage is not an allowable use.
Right, so that we can even approve.
Yeah.
We don't have the right to approve it.
We don't, the building inspector, don't.
He doesn't either,
Right, under that,
under that.
yeah.
Now, if he wanted to go for a change of use or something, I don't know what he'd have to go on. He couldn't refer to that 10B or 10A.
Yeah, that
No,
would
couldn't
be,
refer to it. He has to refer to something else, which, did Lori fill out that?
yeah, did we get 40? Yeah,
Was it
48,
48?
section 7.
It's almost 8 o'clock at night. I don't know about you, but I'm half blind at that time of night.
Start off that. You don't have this one?
I don't have that one.
Okay, the one that we're referring to,
I saw the one in
the
there.
one I told you.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, right there.
But to the side, it's
I
good.
just- I'm not gonna, I just wanna look at this number, number 7.
Yeah.
Ask any of the neighbors that were here, they've been telling us. They never had a problem
With
for
the,
3 years. Boom. Who owned it 3 years ago? No
Yeah.
problem. Now? problem.
Al owned it, right? Show the
Yeah.
name, Al?
I used to go there all the time. I'd go there for the mill, go get hoses made for the.
He ran a
town.
business.
I bought
there.
many a Christmas trees from him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sell Christmas trees
And
there?
sell Christmas trees,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't realize he sold it 3 years, ago. I thought he just got rid of it now.
Oh, is that who sold down there?
Paulie's. Paulie's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's-
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
It's not just noise, you know, it's smoke, fire up
Yeah,
on
it smells.
diesels, things.
Oh, yeah, like you said, they're all old trucks.
It's going in the same direction 80% of the
If that,
time.
if that was
One
there
guy's
before they
knows.
moved in and stuff, like say, oh geez, your fault.
Part of the reason I
It has
asked
to be
him
grandfathered in.
how far the nearest house was from his trucks, not his line, not anything, the
Right.
truck.
Yeah.
I don't think he was truthful with me, because the other guy got up and said it was 125 feet, 200, 150 feet.
And you know, he's
So-
right, he
He
cleared
oughta
right
know.
through, he cleared right through the borders.
Yeah, he
He
said he's
did.
within
He's
15
getting
years,
no-
something like
No
that.
fencing, no
He
nothing.
could have left the buffer zone, you know? That would,
Yeah.
I
Took it all
think that
out.
would have cut down on the noise,
Took it
and
all
cut
out.
down on
Yeah,
seeing
Started
it.
backing
Who
them
wants
up
to
to the
see it,
guys'
too?
house.
actually, it's worse when you cut everything down, because
A lot worse.
Those
big cities, they don't have those things done. It's too long.
are the other thing,
For
if he
laws
was,
there.
if he was to give it,
Well, I needed it.
Yeah, it would be,
under what category?
expansion of an pre-existing non-conforming use.
It's not what he's asking for.
Well,
He kind of is and isn't, well, because of that.
in the
because of
public
that.
hearing notice,
He says-
Lori added
Right.
that into.
It's not bad, it's not bad to address it right now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a motion and we ready to vote on the building inspector erring in his decision? For discussion.
I'm good.
Um,
I'm good.
We'll break this down into 2 different votes.
Okay, that's what we should do.
I'll make a motion, we vote on the cease and desist order. Or whether we want to call it that, or an error in the decision of the building inspector. The zoning officer.
Yeah, it would be, when he's the building inspector's decision. Rural agriculture, residential agriculture, RA1 zoning district. Is primarily a residential and accessory uses. Section 310A lists the allowed uses, and section 310B lists the uses that are allowed by special permit. Neither section allows for the keeping in storage of commercial vehicles and equipment in the zoning district. So that, take a motion that the building inspector was correct in his decision. Get a motion,
I'll make a motion to that effect.
all right,
I'll second it.
discussion? All those in favor of?
Careful, man.
Building inspector's decision.
Upholding.
Upholding.
Hold.
We will vote on upholding the building inspector's decision of September 7th, 2021.
Sounds good to me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. No appeal to the building inspector's decision. And then we will need a determination of the change of use. Non-conforming uses and structures. 300-19. The Board of Appeals may grant a special permit to change a non-conforming use in accordance with this section only if it determines that such change or extension shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use to the neighborhood.
Kind of spells it out.
It pretty much does.
Yeah.
I don't like doing this.
Yeah, I don't like the hard working guy, it's too
This
bad.
burns my ass to even think about it.
I don't like,
We don't have a choice.
I know.
We just don't.
You hate to do this.
No,
what we're here for.
there's no pretty side of this one, but he knew 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, he had his chance.
He took his,
You should have checked it before you bought it.
no, I think actually he wrecked it this summer when he tore the place all apart, picked all the neighbors off.
Yeah,
Now they all sat in front of us and told us the story.
he's had trucks there since he's been there.
3 years. Well, this will be his third year.
All right, are we ready to vote on that? Make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we vote on the deal for non-conforming.
A special permit.
Special permit,
Yeah.
non-conforming.
The change of the non-conforming
Change.
use.
I'll second it.
All right, discussion? You all know what we're voting on?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of granting a special permit to store trucks at the site? All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
All right. Motion does not carry. You have any other business?
What's the process now for? Guns a-blazing now? or what?
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, he's running his business out.
Yeah, he's
Shut
running,
down.
ran his business right out of there.
Yeah,
Somebody has to.
he ran it somewhere before.
Yeah, oh, that's, I
Glenwood
feel
Kitchen.
you. I've been in the same.
He was out behind Glenwood Kitchen.
Oh, is that where he had his
Probably
equipment?
figured I got away with it there, I'll go buy my own place.
Oh, that's where I still see those trucks back down there.
Yeah.
That was his truck.
Yeah, those are some old trucks then. Those are the trucks.
I remember seeing them, but I
Yeah.
didn't know they were his.
We go get them at auction and fix them up, so.
Yeah, hard-working guy making a living, but what do you do?
Okay, you're all set with us?
Well, I have a question. So on your decision sheet, do you need all of what was just motioned, the two motions to be on the decision sheet, or just
I would put the two motions,
Two votes, yeah.
two votes.
Then I will get your signatures at a later date.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Just when we were starting to have fun.
Yeah.
It's really, all right.
Gotta do nothing else.
Sorry.
If you want to wait, I'll go do it right now.
No,
No, it's okay. You need to go home. and take-
no, go ahead.
It's up to you.
All right.
It's up to you. It's really up to you.
No, because there's no, I don't have any other appeals at this time, so I don't have any scheduled anything for you after this, except coffee and donuts to practice.
So we can stop in.
Yeah, I'll just, what
Inside.
I'll do is I will create it.
Yep.
By Thursday. And I'll email it to you, John, to take a look at.
Mhm.
And then once you're comfortable with what's on there, the wording, making sure that we got it right, then I can contact everybody else and let them know that they can swing by the sign.
Okay.
Do we have anything to sign? Other
Right
than
now?
what- Yeah.
Nope,
okay,
No.
Other than that
You
stuff
did it,
that I
all the
did,
minutes.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, I need a motion to close the meeting.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Discussion? Any discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.